Okay, welcome to another Orbiter 2010 video, and this video is literally a direct continuation of the last video. I paused at the end of the last video, and I'm just waiting to unpause here to pick back up where we left off. In the last video, we brought the XR2 from Earth all the way out to Mars. We'd completed the trans-Mars injection burn, and we got all the way over here with basically no mid-course corrections. I mean, it was like a meter or two per second, thanks to the highly accurate map program that's built into IMFD, and thanks also to the help that I've gotten from Dimitri for teaching me how to use IMFD. So now we're here at Mars, where we did our aero capture in the last video, but we're still trying to work our way over to the base. We're about, I think, about 7,000 kilometers out from the base still, something like that. And we're going to try to just do a runway landing, because we're trying to do this mission where we have a near perfect calculation on our delta V. And so far all of our calculations have been great. We definitely don't have enough delta V to do a landing pad landing, so our only choice is going to be to land on the ground in some form or fashion. So let's go ahead and switch camera views here and jump back in, unpause, and just continue on here. Currently, I'm working to get my equatorial position to 12.745, and I know that's what it needs to be, because if we have Olympus runway targeted in aerobrake, and it tells us that the north latitude of the runway is 12.745, so that's how I know what that number is. But before getting to that point, we also need our rate to be 0.0000.
18.
So I'm working also to bring the rate down a bit. And let me start the APU
On.
and close the air brake for now. We're down to 3,600 meters per second velocity. Okay, we're at 11.1 on the equatorial position, so just putting in a bit more up pitch here, trying to bring that rate down so that it's closer to zero. If you don't do that ahead of time, you end up overshooting the equatorial position, then you have to go way back the other direction, and it's a big pain in the neck. So it's a little hard for me to know for sure how much I need to bring the rate down by, but you just kind of try to eyeball it. You know, I can see that currently we're at 11.57,
17.
and so we're still moving at a pretty good rate. But you also don't want to zero out the rate too soon, because then you'd have to, you know, go more in the other direction. Okay, seems like we're a bit too low in the atmosphere at the moment, so let's
APU fuel 70%.
roll out and climb.
APU offline.
Doing most of the flying currently with just rotation thrusters, because we have the RCS to spare for that. It doesn't take a lot of fuel to do a few RCS movements, but we will burn through our APU too fast if I need to climb quite a bit. According to aerobrake's prediction, we're not making it over to the base. Okay, equatorial position is almost 12, so we got to go to 12.745. Okay, that's enough. We don't want the vertical speed to go too high. Okay, we're at 12.1 on the equatorial position. Looking at that number down here. Try to pull in toward the planet a little bit to eliminate that vertical speed. And if you look up there, actually let me change my webcam to a different spot. If you look up above the webcam, you can see what our G force is. Okay, we're at 12.28 equatorial position, so we're really close to the 12.745. The number's coming down quite slowly now, so we don't really want to eliminate too much more rate until we're much closer to the 12.745. Just taking a look every now and then at the RCS to see how much fuel I'm using just to do these maneuvers, because the APU is on expert configuration, so it's burning at its maximum rate. So if I just leave the APU running the whole time to do the atmospheric flight, we'll run out of APU. So in my fuel calculation, if I'm going to do a runway landing at Mars, I probably need to include, you know, I don't know. I'll have to watch this video playback and figure it out. But there should be some amount of fuel taken into consideration for this flight that I'm doing. For these maneuvers that I'm doing. Let's take a look at map MFD. See how close we are to the base. It's kind of hard to tell from...
Mach 16.
So we're 5,000 kilometers out, 5,300 kilometers out. Equatorial position is 12.5. Rates getting very low. Yeah, I should probably include, like, you know, 20 kg of fuel or something like that for the RCS maneuvers. I'll have to, again, I'll look at the video playback. I'll see what it was when I arrived at Mars, and I'll see what it is when I land, and then that'll give me an idea, kind of a minimum. Of course, it will depend exactly where you are when you arrive at Mars. If you have to go more distance than I did, then it would be a little bit more RCS. Okay, we're at 12.5 or 12.6 on the equatorial position, really close to where we need to be. Let's turn the APU back on for a moment because our trim isn't set very well at the moment. And let's go with that amount of trim.
APU offline.
Turn the APU back off to save that fuel. Equatorial position 12.62 to almost 12.63. And the rate's coming down. Kind of almost need to go the other way with it for now. So we're almost right in front of the runway. Maybe I need to have it the other way to climb. Yeah, I don't want to zero the rate out yet. Now the rate is 0, and I don't want that because I still have to go a little bit farther north. Okay, I must be rotating the wrong way, so let me rotate this way. It's always confusing to me which way that's going to improve the rate. So like right now, it doesn't matter what I do, it seems like it's just getting farther to the south. Just rotate completely sideways. Alright, well clearly that's not right. I'm getting a bit low in the atmosphere again. Let me turn the APU back on.
Off.
Go to surface controls. Yeah, actually we should be flying heads up now anyway. Okay, now I need to move more toward the north.
Mach 14.
Okay, now I can see the rate going the direction I want it to go. We're only 4,600 kilometers from the base. Okay, now the rate's going north. Just rotate in a little bit because I don't want to climb too far out. Just zero out some of that velocity or some of that vertical speed. And that's going to have to be good enough because I don't want the rate to climb too much more. Alright, let's bring up aerobrake MFD. Just pushing the nose down a bit. We don't want to climb too much. Okay, equatorial position 12.7. So we're almost where we need to be. Let's start eliminating the rate. Because we only have to go to 12.745.
Mach 14. Mach 14.
Let's roll over and make sure that we don't lose control of the vessel. With our velocity this low, we don't want to be up at 40 kilometers. That's kind of the velocity. That's kind of the altitude that you would want to be at when you're, at orbital.
APU fuel 60%.
60% left on the APU. Okay, 12.7. We need to eliminate that last little bit of rate. Okay, we've overshot our 12.745 by just a little bit, but it'll be okay. We'll getting rid of that last little bit of rate right now. Okay, now we're moving south, and we only want to move south at like 0.0000. Okay, let's take one quick look at orbit MFD. All right, we're fine there. Surface. Let's roll over. And we've got enough velocity to make it to the base, so let's throw out the air brake. And let's constantly, now we really got to focus on our rate and our position. Now we're off in the wrong direction. Let's rotate this way a little bit. God, I swear no matter which way I roll, it's wrong. Okay, the rate's coming down. And we need to start moving north again, so we need to get to a 0.0001 when it's north. Currently, you see the letter at the end is S. That means we're moving south. And we don't want that because we're too far south already. But we don't want to move a lot to the north, just a little bit. Okay, now we're moving north a little bit. And that's fine. Let's go back to level flight. And we'll eventually work our way over to 12.745 again. Let's bring back in the air brake, because the prediction according to aerobrake MFD says we'll be short. Okay, let's look at map MFD, see how far we have to go. Still have 3,000, almost 4,000 kilometers to go. Push the nose down a little bit just to get rid of that vertical speed. And I did put the radiator out, yeah.
Information. APU fuel 50%.
Just trying to eliminate the vertical speed. Now we're moving south, which I don't want. See, the heading indicator at the top, as I push the nose down, shows me that I'm moving north, but it's always backwards and wrong. It just is so confusing to me. Guess we need to roll the other way.
Mach 13.
Okay, vertical speed is negative again, so we can roll this way, and I know if I roll this way and pull up, that it puts the rate in the direction that I want. But when you're pushing down, it seems backwards. Okay, we are 12.7. We've got a rate moving us to the north. Now we just need to glide a bit to get over toward the base. Let's see how far out we are now. 3,500 kilometers. I don't think you can see that information in aerobrake. Of course, now we do have it on the HUD, so I don't have to switch over to MapMFD for that reason anymore. Okay, equatorial position now 12.728, so we're getting pretty close. Go ahead and go back to level flight. Push the nose down a little bit. Don't want to climb. Sorry about the sniffles. I seem to have gotten just a little bit of something here recently. I'm taking a prescription of amoxicillin for strep throat. Crap, I'm past the 12745. And I'm on some other inhaled
fuel 40%.
antibiotic of some kind that I get through a nebulizer. And I found out I actually was in the hospital Wednesday and Thursday because I had to get some tests done. The right bronchial tube going to my right lung, the way your bronchial tubes work, they go down and they branch off several times. And on my right side, one of the bronchial tubes is completely pinched off. The way, after the lung transplant, the way it healed, the scarring worked out in such a way that it caused one of the tubes on the right side to just completely pinch itself off. So it's looking like I'm going to have to go into for surgery for that this week, this coming week. Definitely not looking forward to that. Had enough hospitals for one lifetime. Spend half my life in the hospital, it seems like. Not necessarily admitted, but just I'm there all the time for tests and x-rays and blood work and scans and physical rehab, and I'm just always at the hospital. It's really gets old. But I'll find out more about that Monday. But when I was down there, when I was down there Wednesday, Thursday, the doctor was just telling me that bronchial tube is just completely pinched off, and it's a problem because, for one thing, it obviously decreases your ability to breathe a little bit, but more importantly, you can't clear secretions. So like even healthy people, even people without all these lung problems that I have, you need to be able to cough and clear any of the gunk that gets in your lung. You need to be, every now and then you kind of spit up that gross stuff. Everybody does it. And if your bronchial tube's pinched off, you cannot clear that stuff out. And it can actually grow, like viruses, and just becomes this, this sickly, disgusting muck in your lungs that just grows nonstop out of control. And it can actually, to some point it could eventually kill you. Okay, we're at 12,735, so we still need a little bit of northern correction. We've got a rate that's moving us north. Check the APU. Let me turn it off for now.
APU offline. Rotation.
Go back to rotation. We're 3,000 kilometers out. I'm going to say that 0002 north is enough on the rate. Yeah, that's definitely enough. Okay, so now we basically just have to fly straight to the runway. Just putting in a bit of right bank now to bring the rate down. Okay, that's enough. We don't want to go all the way to, we don't want to go south. Nope, now we're south, so a little bit of left bank. But now we should basically be able to hold almost a 90-degree heading all the way over to the runway. Put in a little more banks. That's still showing south here in the rate 0001 south, and we need it to be north. But we don't want to do too much movement at this point because we're very well lined up. Okay, now it's zeroed out, and eventually that'll switch from S to N, which indicates that we're moving north. (2,700 kilometers from the base. What I'll do here when I end this video, I'm going to go ahead and glide the rest of the way over toward the runway off camera, and then I will pick up in the next part of the video where we're just about ready to land, because I don't know how long it's going to take to glide that, that last bit. I don't think it'll be interesting enough for anyone to watch.
12.
But we are moving north by just a small amount, so we'll get back over to 12,745. Bring the vessel back closer to the center. It does seem, though, that it naturally wants to go south, so it seems like we need just a little bit of left bank just to keep ourselves at zero. Yeah, you can see I'm not even at level yet, and it's already going back more towards south. So it seems like here for the last couple thousand kilometers, we're going to need a little bit of left bank just to keep ourselves flying straight. Even more than this, because you can see it did go south. See if that gets us back north. It does. But you can see now in Aerobrake MFD, this is where our vessel's at, that little white line. You can barely see it. And we're almost perfectly, if you drew a line straight from there to there, it would be almost perfectly flat. And that's what we need to have if we're going to land on the runway. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this part of the video here. Let me hit Control-P to pause. Let me save. And I'm going to finish the 2,000 kilometer, probably pick back up when I'm maybe 200 or 300 kilometers from the runway. So if you like this part of the video, hit the like button down below. If you didn't like it, hit the don't like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and check the description down below for various links, and I will see you in the next video.